Hey everybody, welcome to the Wadcast podcast. I'm your host, Eddie Ift. We have an amazing episode with CrossFit Coach, CrossFit competitor, television celebrity, New York celebrity, Kenny Santucci, friend of Hunter McIntyre. I forgot to mention that. Kenny's wonderful, hilarious, fun, crazy dude that I got to interview while in New York City this week, and works out, runs Solace CrossFit in New York City. So if you ever get a chance, check out Solace. It's a beautiful, awesome gym that has some pretty crazy competitors there. People like Alex Smith and some other top names work out there. So stop by if you ever get a chance. This episode is, I was on tour in New York doing shows at the Comedy Cellar and the Empire Casino out in Yonkers, New York, and a whole bunch of different things. I had to do some stuff in New Jersey, but I'm back in LA tomorrow, and I'm taking some time off, taking a few weeks off. I will still do the podcast. We have an amazing, I gotta stop being superlative guy, like the best, the greatest, the most amazing. I do that a lot, but that's because I'm getting positive. I don't know if you know that, but I'm being a positive person because I have a little boy coming in a few weeks. My wife is super pregnant, and I'm trying to have a really good attitude. So she is about to burst. I mean, it looks like if I put a pin in her stomach, she would explode. That's how big she is right now. And the baby is due the 9th. Little Eddie Ift, another one, the 4th. So I think we're calling it something else though. But, so that happens. So I will be doing episodes next Tuesday. I'm recording with Brian Miller. Brian's been a guest of the show before. Awesome guest. Amazing. Just so fun to talk to. So interesting and an easy talk. A lot of times CrossFitters are difficult to talk to, and it's like pulling teeth. But sometimes you get one that's got a great personality. Today, Kenny was like that, but Brian is also like that. But Brian is also involved in some controversy in the sport. He came out admitting to using performance-enhancing drugs in testosterone, I believe it was. And we're going to talk all about that, but so much more because there's way more to him than that. But we will be talking about that. And he was also the, I guess, captain of the Invictus team. So stay tuned for that one next week. If you like this show, and I know a lot of you did, and I want to thank so many of you for giving great reviews on iTunes. That was awesome. I asked you to do it. You did it. And they were really nice, except for one person really came after me saying that I don't interview the people enough and that I talk too much. And I just wanted to thank you for the constructive criticism and tell you to go fuck yourself. I sometimes talk. That's C-Diz. I know you want to hear the guests, but you need to understand that I'm a narcissist and an egomaniac, and I love to hear myself talk. And the whole reason I do this podcast is so that I can hear myself. Even if I didn't do a podcast, I would just record myself and then listen to myself over and over and over again, because that's what I want to do. No, it's how I keep the conversation going. And people call me a one-upper a lot. What happens is somebody's telling me a story, and rather than at the end of when they're talking going, so what else is new? Or saying, so then what did you do? Because I feel like it's exhausted. I tell them something that I feel can relate to what they just talked about. So if they're talking about a time when they were going through a tough time in their life and they got arrested and the police, put them in handcuffs, I remember in my head of a time that I was in handcuffs. So then I tell my story to them. I don't know if you know this, but that's called a conversation. So that's all I'm doing. But I don't need to justify myself here. I'm the host of this show now. I'm the sole host. So thank you for all the ratings, reviews, and great reviews. Keep it up. Please go to iTunes. Rate, review, comment. Give us 5 stars. Us, me, Ernie, 5 stars, nice review, and it helps us in the ratings. More people find out about the show. You can also help the show by going to Patreon. If you donate $5 a month, that's all you got to do, you'll get a chance at getting a MyoPucks. Matthew Newell just told me he got his MyoPucks, and he said he can't stop using it. He almost wants to get hurt so he can use it. You don't even need it to be hurt. You just need some congestion in your body, swelling, soreness, anything. You hook that sucker up and it flushes all that congestion out. It is amazing. I was having issues with my elbow again and put it on the other day and just sat and watched TV for an hour and just felt that thing pump. It pumps the blood in and out, right in. It makes those muscles move, and then it goes out through your lymphatic system and brings that healthy blood there. So I use it all the time, and it's incredible. So get yourself one. If you donate $5, there's a good chance. You'll get picked, and you'll get one. So, and you get a leopard claw too, which I use that to grind up all the fascia and, adhesions in the fascia and get that out of there. So that, do yourself a favor, go Google fascia and adhesions and then look at images and see what happens underneath your skin and above your muscle. And when you see that, you'll go, ooh, I need to get in there and grind that sucker out. So get yourself a leopard claw, or you could just go to their website and just buy one. Buy a leopard claw, buy a MyoPucks, and know that you're also helping out some of the troops. Because the guys that are downrange, that get injured out there, they take care of them. They did really good work with them. As for me, still doing podcast, great people coming out. I love when you guys come to my shows. If you want to get tickets, they're always available at eddyift.com, and I have lots of dates coming up. I am, most importantly, well, I'll get to that. I'm off the road until my next shows are at Hyenas Comedy Club in Dallas, which is the 18th, 19th, 20th of July. On the 21st of July, I'm doing a big show at the Comedy Store in Hollywood. That's an 8 p.m. show. I'm going to have a lot of friends on the show, probably 4 other comics who will all be major stand-up talents. Saturday Night Live guys, people you've seen on Comedy Central, Netflix, you name it, HBO. And it'll be a great show. So get your tickets. The tickets are available at the Comedy Store website now. So go there, get them. It's Eddie Ift and Friends. That is the 21st of July, Comedy Store. Then I head off to Zany's in Chicago. It's Zany's in Chicago. That's the 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th of July. Then I'm in the CrossFit Games. I'm going to head over from Chicago. Oh, my wife's not going to like that. I was going to head to hang out with Hunter and cheer him on. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. My wife might kill me. But August, I get a baby. August 1st, 2nd, 3rd, I'm in Omaha, Nebraska. Okay, Omaha, Nebraska at the Funny Bone. August 8th, 9th, 10th, I'm at the Dead Crow in Wilmington, North Carolina. That's fun. It's really fun. It's one of my favorite clubs. I love it. And I forget what gym I work out there, but Wilmington, good time. And then I'm in August 21st doing a new date. I'm going to be in Ketchum, Idaho. That's Sun Valley. I know there's a CrossFit gym up there that Hunter and Crazy Bobby work out at, so I will be there. And then the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, I'm going to be at Liquid's Comedy Club in Boise, Idaho. It's the first time there. I'd love to start building a following in Boise. So if you're there, come out and see me. Then the 29th, 30th, 31st of August, I'll be at Hyenas in Fort Worth. And then September 6th and 7th, Comedy Store in La Jolla. Oh, 6th, 7th, 8th. Comedy Store La Jolla. That sells out. Every ticket sells out. So get your tickets now. If you're San Diego, you're a CrossFitter, bring the whole crew. Buy the tickets now because it will be sold out. And people complain to me, hey, can I get a comp? Can I come in? No. Sold out. There are, I think I'll do 5 shows. Every single one of them will sell out. So get your tickets. And then then I think I'm doing the Malibu Triathlon on the 13th and 14th. So there's all kinds of other dates, Reno in October, all kinds of stuff coming up. So check out my dates at eddyift.com. Please come out and see me. Thanks for your reviews. Thanks for your help. Thanks for supporting on Patreon. Thanks for listening to this show. And thanks for supporting our sponsors. And I don't think there's anything else I can tell you other than just enjoy this interview with Kenny Santucci. Welcome to the Wadcast Podcast. I'm your host, Eddie Ift, and as I always say, it's a special episode. It is very special. I'm in New York City right now, and I'm usually recording solo when I'm on the road, but right now I have my he's not little anymore, but my nephew, my 13-year-old nephew, Austin, is doing the engineering today. So he's my little machete right now, and you don't have to watch it the whole time.
He is stone cold.
Yeah, he is. He's taking this very seriously. So, doing the episode, my guest today comes highly recommended by a guy who is the least recommended guy for this show. Our guest today is Kenny Santucci, and came via, guess who? Hunter McIntyre. So, Kenny has a background in many, many things. We'll get into it. But has some major accomplishments and is a big CrossFit guy and has coaches. Oh, are you one of the owners of Solus over here?
No, I would say I don't have an official title. I fit in where I'm needed. Whether it's marketing, the business side, coaching, programming, creative, I'll do everything from fix the floors to making the T-shirts to teaching class and privates on a daily basis.
But you're a Jersey guy because I saw you were in Asbury Park.
Yeah, I'm a big Jersey guy.
Is that where you're from?
Yeah, born and raised in Newark, New Jersey, which a lot of people find hard to believe because it is the hood of New Jersey, and everybody's like, "Well, you're pretty Ginzo." I'm like, "I know. I was like the last of the Italians in
yeah, because that's changed.
But it's changing now. So my family moved out when I was 18, 19, so it was like early 2000s.
Did you move to Asbury Park then?
No. I moved to my family moved up to Cedar Grove, New Jersey. It's over by Montclair. But I've been going down the shore. If you're from Jersey, especially North Jersey, you spend every summer of your life down the shore. My dad used to take us down there when we were kids because it was such a dump. Like we would drive through, and it's like never go to Asbury Park. I'd say about 7 or 8 years ago, when I first opened my gym in New Jersey, I was kind of broke at the time because I dumped a bunch of money into my gym and everything. And starting up a business, you're really not paying yourself. So I was like, where could I go for the day? And I was driving through, and a buddy of mine had a restaurant still does have a restaurant in Manasquan. It's called The Committed Pig. Great
What's
little
it
spot.
Called?
The Committed Pig. It's like a brunch spot. So it's like, it plays on the whole idea of bacon and eggs.
I think I've been there.
It's awesome. It's a really good spot. He's actually putting up a new one in Jersey City, but... So I was going down there, and I was driving through Asbury Park, and I'm like, oh, this looks like a pretty cool scene. And at the time, I obviously didn't have any cash, so I couldn't buy a place there. And now, I look for places down there, and the market's skyrocketed.
Yeah.
It's like impossible. You can't touch anything. Anyway, a friend of mine, Grant, he put together the Asbury Park Games, which is a CrossFit competition. Put together about 3 years ago. 4 years ago, he told me about it, and then the first year he had it was like 3 years ago.
Right.
I partnered up with Anthony Vasquez, regional guy. He went into regionals in the Northeast a couple times. Great athlete. He was one of the misfit guys. So I knew him through that. And we went on. We took fourth at that competition. And then the next year I did it with two buddies from my gym.
So it's only 3 man?
Yeah.
3?
So the first year was 2 guys.
Okay.
And then the last 2 years it's been 3 guys. And now the next year it's going to be a sanctioned event.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. And, I remember when he was first telling me about it, I'm like, dude, that's so cool that it's going to be, we got this competition in Jersey. I kind of take pride in it because it's kind of my home state and stuff. And
well, Jersey's my second home. I grew up in Pittsburgh, but spent all my summers down on the Jersey Shore in Stone Harbor. Avalon Stone Harbor.
Rich guy.
Yeah. That's
Stone Harbor's fancy town.
Stone Harbor is fancy town, to the point where I was a lifeguard down there, and I was down there this weekend, and they've... It used to be, when I tried out for the patrol, there were like 80 people tried out, and 18 people were making it.
Wow.
And they were telling us they can't even fill positions anymore because millennials don't want to work out.
Isn't that so crazy?
Because you're getting paid to work out.
Yeah.
They don't want to work out. They don't they'd rather go make more money because you don't make. I mean, the guys make like $100 a day, and
it's such a stud job.
This is all it was, but they don't want to be alphas. They want to be betas. And the other problem with it is that the housing down there now, there were all kinds of like little studios or whatever,
bungalows.
You could do a share house with 10 other guys. It doesn't exist anymore. It's all mansions. So they can't even live. They were saying some of the lifeguards live in the trailer park off the island because you can't afford to live there anymore.
That's crazy.
So when I lived there, I was paying probably like $200 a month, to live in or maybe even $300. But
I tell everybody that I think the world, with everything, no matter what it is, whether it's fitness or the economy, we're going in two completely different directions. There used to be this gray ground, this middle ground where most people could live, but now it's either you're super wealthy or you're going to the charging towards the bottom, and the people at the bottom are like, well, I'll just live off the fat of the land, and whatever everybody else is making, I'll just take a little share of that and fucking do whatever. No, I actually had a lunch meeting with a buddy today who's in the fitness industry as well, a younger guy, and it's the first time I had talked to somebody who's a little bit younger than me. He's almost 10 years younger than I am, and we were talking. I said, I noticed about you that you're hungry, that you want, there's a lot of people who don't have that drive or that want to learn anything or to do anything. Everybody thinks everything's going to be handed to them, and I think it's a stiff kick in the ass to people. And if you start to look at some of the suicide rates and amongst young people, it's crazy. Because everybody's like, oh, wait, no one's just going to give that to me? It's not going to happen?
Because of these, too.
Yeah.
The phones are doing it.
Yeah. It's like, you don't have to be smart anymore. You can just Google it.
Everything.
You don't have to do anything anymore. Someone will just give it to you.
My friend said it to me the other day. He goes, why are you always on your phone? And he goes, I'm trying to have a conversation with you. I go, this is my brain. Yeah. I go, you can ask me a question. I'm not going to have the right answer, but this will.
Yeah.
So why don't I just go to this?
Well, you listen to that podcast with Elon Musk and Joe Rogan, and that's what they talk about, know. I've listened to a couple other podcasts that talk about a similar topic about AI and how it's, there's no reason. I went to, have you ever read The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck?
The what? Yeah, my wife has it, yeah.
So there's a new one. The same author actually used to come to the gym. I used to train him and his wife, And Mark Manson, great dude. He had just released his second book, Everything is Fucked. And one of the things that he talked about when he did the book release, because he did a little thing over at Gramercy Theater, and he talked about how, most people thought he was joking around, but he was talking about sex bots. And how people don't even have to interact with anybody anymore for like physical pleasure because they can have these sex bots do whatever they want.
Do you know where I can get one?
I mean, I couldn't imagine they'd be cheap, but it's this world where people are just always looking for the easy way out.
It's insane. It's insane.
It's scary. It's scary. And it's funny when you watch like Terminator, came out in 1984, and you think about it and you're like, man, they were really ahead of the curve.
Oh, yeah, it's all happening. But Orson Welles, was ahead of the curve. This stuff is all happening. Big Brother's watching us all.
Yeah.
You're monitored by your phone. There's a GPS system. People don't realize these phones were developed by the military. That GPS system was developed by the military so that they've got global positioning satellites that know where you are at every second of your life. It's getting terrifying.
You ever see drones fly around and like that scene from the Terminator where like it's the little thing with the guns on it? That's a drone. That thing is so freaky. Like, anytime I see a drone, I'm like, I'm scared shit of that.
I just listened to a podcast that was talking about that drone that got shot down over Iran, and they were saying how, like, it's so superficial what we talk about on the news. You don't realize, like, we can send more drones in with, like, those drones that were unmanned. Those are observational drones. They can send in these ones that like, are fighter drones that go next to it. They can do, there's just so much crazy. There's so much stuff we don't know about that's going on.
I actually had a meeting with a woman the other day, and her fiance works in AI. And if you work in AI nowadays, a lot of it's like governed by the military. Mm-hmm. And they have to take these ethical courses and stuff, like doctors. Right? Because it's literally at the point where it takes over.
Yeah.
And it's the scariest shit.
Did you ever see those robots when they just like have them fighting and stuff? And the one thing that scares me the most, I don't know if you've ever seen the thing that cuts down trees.
Oh yeah.
When I saw that
big
thing,
saw blade,
it'll grab a tree, chop it down, turn it sideways, chop little pieces out of it, like then split all the wood, send it out, and you're like, oh, we're done.
Yeah.
We're done.
I tell people, like, my whole thing was always, like, be as strong as you possibly could be, because you're not fighting another human.
Yeah. No.
You're going to fight something with no emotion.
No.
That knows more about you. Like, think about how much your phone knows about you that you don't even remember about yourself.
Yeah, that's terrifying. And because I see things and I look into my old history and I'm like, oh, I didn't remember that, but that history's there. So let's get to, so you were, when I came to New York last time I was in town, Hunter was like, you need to come down to Solus. You got to come to Solus.
Yeah.
Solus it's funny because it's one of the nicest CrossFit gyms I've ever been in. But at the same time, it's in New York City where the price per square foot is probably the most expensive in the country.
Yeah.
San Francisco, New York.
Easily. Yeah.
So how do you guys make
having
money?
A storefront. You know, I got to be creative. You know, that's what I'm constantly doing, just being as creative as possible, doing as many events and things as possible. But
do you charge?
I feel like like a lot of times I feel like I'm the perfect person for it because I love to hustle. I love to grind.
Yeah.
I guess it's the Italian in me or the Jersey in me that, like, I kind of just love grinding away. And it forces me to think. I can't be in a stagnant position. I need to keep moving. I need to create. And I love working with people. Like, my favorite thing is to interact with people. You know, when people call me an influencer or anything like that, I'm like, fuck all that. I just happen to have followers. My favorite thing to do, you know, I was just talking about this at lunch. They're like, but I was talking to this guy and he's like, do you like teaching class? I go, I don't like teaching class. I love to teach class. I love to teach people shit.
You're more of a man than I am. Yeah. I've never taught CrossFit, but I used to teach skiing, and all I was thinking was, how do I go ski? Like, when is this over?
Yeah. I trust the process. Mm-hmm. You know, I've been doing it for about 10 years now.
Okay, yeah.
And I love to watch people grow. I know every rep and every movement and everything I do is going to add to their benefit and get them better.
When did you meet Hunter?
You're going to love this story. So 3 years ago at the CrossFit Games, or before the CrossFit Games, I'm good buddies. You know Aaron, right?
Who?
Aaron Hines, who owns FITAID.
No, I know of him.
Okay,
yes.
So Aaron Hines owns
I'm drinking
FITAID.
one right now.
I call him a mentor, big brother. You know, he is one of the best guys I know. I truly love that guy. And Jackie Perez, like, they're like family with me. And I met them years ago, and they kept telling me, you got to meet Hunter. You guys are the same person. You got to meet Hunter. And then when I met Hunter, I'm like, do you guys think I'm this fucking crazy? I go, I'm not half as bad as this. I mean, this guy is like fully charged at all moments.
He's out of his mind.
So they're like, at the CrossFit Games, we're going to put you in a room with Hunter. He's not going to get there till Saturday, but you guys are going to share a room for like 2 nights, 3 nights.
You had to share a room with him?
Yeah. So now I'm in the room getting ready to go out that night. I'm in the shower. I hear the bathroom door open up. And he's getting undressed. And I go, buddy, what the fuck are you doing? You're going to jump in with me? He goes, no, I got to take a shower too. I go, give me a minute to get out. I'm like, easy, pal. But like, I instantly fell in love with him. I love talking to him, and people see this crazy, wild personality, and he definitely is that guy.
Yeah,
he's nonstop. Like, he doesn't give a fuck what anybody's saying about him. He doesn't give a shit. He is so dialed in.
Yeah,
and when you get to know him and you could really sit down and talk to him, he's very intelligent. Mm-hmm. He's very driven.
I hate that he's going to hear this.
Yeah, and I tell him all the time. I pump his tires all the time.
Yeah,
I think he's a great dude.
He is a great dude, and he's very positive. He's a good person to be around because
he's a family guy.
Talk about a guy that's taken life and just going every situation, going, hey, you know what? We're going to be here. We might as well make this awesome. Let's.
He is definitely.
I'm a complainer out of, like, I'm a comedian, so I find funny and negative.
Yeah.
So we're actually together. We're pretty funny because he'll find the positive, I'll find the negative, and it's
straight man
making fun of him. But I do enjoy without him knowing. Yeah. I enjoy his positivity
for sure
because I know it's
magnetic.
Yeah, I'm the kind of guy. If somebody goes, let's do this, and we're going to do this and this, and like the other night, my friend goes, let's go out in New Jersey. Let's go to a bar. I was like, okay. And he goes, let's we'll walk over there, and I go, let's go ride your kids' bikes. And he's like, I'm not riding my kids' bike. Come on, it'll be funny. So we ride over, and then we have a drink, and I go, let's ride to every bar on the island on your kids' bikes. And he's like,
where was it, Stone Harbor?
Yeah, and we did, and it was hilarious. And it's like Hunter does dumb things like that all the time. So I like him for that. He'll call me and he'll go, hey, there's a waterfall in my down by my house right now. You got to come see it. I'll be like, okay. And then we'll be walking there, and he'll be like, we're gonna have to rappel off this cliff to get down. It's always some crazy situation for sure.
Yeah,
but he's living life. Most people are just sitting watching on their phones or whatever they're doing. But that's what I do appreciate about him. You were on what's the show, The Challenge on MTV?
Challenge, yeah. So I started doing
my nephew is researching you before the show. He goes, what's this show? I can't find the show. What is The Challenge? He was dying to know.
So The Challenge was MTV's
That's not the Real World Rules Challenge.
It was, yeah.
So which show were you on first?
So I was never on a Real World. I was a finalist for one of the Real Worlds back in 2000. I'm dating myself. 2004, 2005. I was supposed to be on Real World Austin. I was a finalist for it, and then they ended up calling me up like 6 months later and asking me if I wanted to do this competition-based show. At the time, I was a senior in college. I was wrestling. I was working out. I was doing all this shit, running marathons and stuff. So I'm like, fuck, there's going to be nobody could beat me. And then they were telling me I could win $250,000. At the time, CrossFit wasn't really a relevant thing, right? Yeah. So I went on. I took second, and then they invited.
Who beat you?
I lost on a puzzle. I was winning. So it was a 10-mile race.
Brains over brawn.
Yeah. It was a 10-mile race with a 100-pound sandbag. 10 miles.
10 miles?
10 miles.
With a 100-pound sandbag?
With a 100-pound sandbag. It was 2 50-pound bags, and it was me and this girl. And then it was this guy and this other girl. So we were ahead of them.
Whoa. That sounds like one of the most brutal events.
It was fucking brutal. We started at like 8 in the morning. The sun was down when we were crossing the finish line. Now, you could drop the sandbags if you figure out the puzzles. So we got to the second puzzle, right? We dropped one bag, so I had a 50-pound sandbag the rest of the way. But
that you shared?
That pretty much. I mean, I carried it most of the way. She was all of...
Where were you carrying? One shoulder or other?
Dude, anywhere.
That would mess your knees up. That would mess...
At the time, I was 22, 23.
Yeah, so you're not getting hurt too bad.
Nowadays, if I did that now, I'd fucking be in bed for 3 weeks.
I can't. One time I walked up, I've got a mountain behind my house that's 5 miles. My little daughter that's now 4, I forget, she was like maybe 2.5, 3 years old, probably 3. We walk all the way up, and I'm so impressed that she's made it to the top of this mountain with me. We get to the top, and she goes, Dad, pick me up. I pick her up, and she passes out on my shoulder. And now it's getting dark, and we're going down only a few miles to meet my wife where she's going to pick us up.
Yeah.
But I had to walk down with probably 30 pounds.
Which is a lot.
Down a mountain.
Yeah.
I've never had pains like that in my life because you're off balance.
Yeah.
And so I can't imagine a sandbag for 10 miles.
It was brutal.
One sandbag.
No, it was 2 50-pound
But
bags.
I'm saying even when you went to go to one, that's brutal.
Yeah, we figured out one of the puzzles and got to drop the weight a little. And then the second one, they had figured out the second puzzle. And if you ever go to Cracker
This
Barrel,
sounds like it should be a CrossFit event.
Well, that's why I got into CrossFit, because I was training for these shows. And they were always, like, the final episode was always these long, crazy endurance races. And, different obstacle courses and stuff. And when I first found out about CrossFit, I'd probably say 2008, 2009, somewhere around there, this guy I started training with in New Jersey, and then a buddy of mine out in LA, they were all doing it. And they were like, you got to try this. This would be great for the show and all this shit. And it started with like tire flips and, bear crawls and kettlebell swings and box jumps. And I didn't start doing snatches and cleans. Like, I was doing cleans in high school and college, but I didn't start doing it the right way.
Right.
Till 2011, 2012, somewhere around there. And still my Olympic lifting shit. It's
the hardest thing in the world. It's a golf swing.
Yeah. So for me, it was just, I got lucky. I got invited back to a bunch of shows. I did some hosting for MTV. That's where I, kind of got really close with the guys from FITAID, because I had this concept for like doing a morning show from like the games and Wadapalooza and, doing all the stuff. So that kind of spawned all that.
How much did you end up winning on the challenge?
Altogether over the course of 7 or 8 seasons, 9 seasons, something like that. So I won 3.
Wow.
And I took second 3 times. And
Wow.
I think I did like 7 or 8 shows, something like that. So I ended up winning close to like $300,000.
Well, that's not bad at all.
Yeah. So it was never big prize money.
You probably made more than 90% of the CrossFit Games athletes.
For sure, yeah. That's what I tell people. I go, everybody's like, oh, dude, this guy will beat you at CrossFit. I was like, yeah, but I was making money collecting checks before anybody else was doing it in CrossFit. Well, I remember when I first started CrossFit, I had literally more followers on Twitter, because Instagram wasn't even a thing, than CrossFit, Rich Froning, and everybody else combined. You know, nobody knew who the fuck they were. I was following them because I knew who they were. You know, I was probably one of the more relevant people in CrossFit.
Yeah.
So, and then it's just like it boomed and it blew up. And I see that their followings are still growing, which I always wonder what the fuck CrossFit's doing and like why it doesn't grow more. You know, you sometimes feel stagnant. At Solace, you know, it says on the wall, Solace Strength and Performance. My big focal point in there, and when we create the programming, we create other, you know, unique classes that we kind of sell. It's more about, you know, getting people strong, and if they want to perform better, then we have those classes as well. So we separate the two, but the goal should always to become stronger, whether it's mentally, physically, or emotionally. That's the goal. Yes, it's great to look good, but if I can make you live a more enriched life for longevity, then I'm doing my job, and you're a better person. You're going to feel better, and that's going to incentivize you to start to eat better and live better. So I look at Solace as more of like a church and a holistic thing, even for myself, than it is just a gym.
If you're ever in New York City, you have to check it out. It's just a beautiful gym, and it's just with how you're hamstrung with the space, and you've got a decent amount of space in there.
There's 11,000 square feet.
Yeah, that's a lot, and for New York City, that's phenomenal.
That's a big chunk of change.
And I'm pretty sure you're allowed to drop the weights there too, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of unheard of here.
Yeah,
I've been to Brick where you have the foam pads. You're dropping.
Yeah, that's annoying. I can't do that.
It's terrible, and that's happening a lot more and more around the country.
Yeah,
I mean, there's places that are losing. I mean, Zach Forrest just lost his gym out in one of his gyms because of the noise.
Wait, which one? Not the big one.
Big one's gone too.
Why?
The big one's gone because the landlord.
He actually stopped in here last year.
Oh, he did?
He was in town with his wife, and I go, "You're Zach Forrest." He's like, "Yeah, how'd you know?" I go, "I do CrossFit. I know who the fuck you are."
Yeah.
And I loved it because I was in Vegas about 4 or 5 years, probably even longer than that. I went out to his gym 3 days in a row because I just loved watching him coach. And listen. He's a fucking phenomenal
He's a
coach.
beast. He's a beast.
Monster of an athlete. Yeah.
Monster of an athlete. Great coach. Great person.
Yeah.
And
wait, what the hell happened?
So the first gym, they had the noise problems and they hadn't been approved yet. So a neighbor was getting. I might be speaking out of turn. He talked about it on an episode. But they hadn't had the lease approved, or they weren't approved yet, so this neighbor was able to throw a wrench in the works and then get them kind of booted.
That's
and
bullshit.
I think what happened was that was the second location. So I think he had put a lot of money into that one. Mm-hmm. So when that closed, then the big location, the new landlord came in and raised the rent on him to an unaffordable point. And because of the other one, I think sinking, the first one, and again, I could be talking out of place here, but basically, landlord, and that's happening in a lot of places where I don't get it. Everybody's raising rents because the economy's booming, but they don't get it. Retail's gone.
It's gone.
So you should be lowering your rents to get places like CrossFit's in.
If you go along Fifth Avenue, which is the most famous street in the entire fucking country, probably the world. Right?
Yeah.
Fifth Avenue, New York City.
Everybody knows Fifth Avenue.
If you walk down Fifth Avenue and you see the amount of stores that are empty, it's almost disturbing to the point where Fifth Avenue is the home of any big retail or brand in the world.
Stores.
All these flagship stores are now closed. Yeah. The fact that Lord & Taylor and Bloomingdale's and all these places are struggling, it's what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah,
it's
the internet.
It's crazy.
The internet was supposed to make everything better, and in a way, it did make our lives more efficient.
Everything's a catch-22.
It's so funny. Every single person I talk to, whether it be comedians I hang out with or interviews on this show, and you say, would you rather go back to the way it was?
100%.
Everyone says
100%.
But the problem is these guys only grew up. This is all they knew.
Yeah.
So they will never know before this to know that there was a better way.
Yeah.
And when I say better way, I mean, look, there's so much it does give us.
For sure.
We wouldn't be doing this. We wouldn't have this show. I mean, I love listening to podcasts. I don't like social media, but
I hate it.
I love
it.
Everyone hates it.
I hate it.
But I love listening to podcasts. I love that I can drive for 3 hours and feel like I'm sitting in on a conversation or learning. You know, I'm like, oh my God, I would never learn this.
Yeah. I like learning. I also like seeking out people who are experts in things and learning from someone. There are times where I was just in Colombia with a bunch of friends, and I left my phone at home one of the nights and just hung out.
Best night of your life?
Oh my God, it was so great. There's nothing I love more than, and everybody's like, how do you know this person? How do you know that person? Everywhere I go, I make it a purpose to talk to somebody, to meet them, and I'm genuinely interested in what they do, how they do it, why they do it, whether it's a fucking cleaning guy at my gym or a random person at a coffee shop. People think I'm a weirdo sometimes.
No, it's great.
But I love
some girl we were with last night said this. She was sitting with us, my friend's girlfriend, and we had just done 2 shows, and we're all hanging out at the Comedy Cellar in New York, and she goes, hey everybody, our goal tonight is to everybody make 3 new friends.
Yeah.
She goes, everybody here make 3 new friends. She goes, see if you can do that. And I was like, oh, shut up. And then the waiter came over and I go, what's your name? And I go, Dan. And where are you from? And we did. And the next thing you know, Chris Redd from Saturday Night Live sat down with us, and I go, I didn't know him because I've never worked with him before, but we started talking. And I'm like, I got two. I'm about to hit 3. But when I started performing back in around 2000, I started traveling the world doing stand-up. And I would go to all these different countries alone.
Yeah.
And it's the best thing I can recommend to anyone. Do not, if you're going to go travel the world, do not go with a friend.
Yeah.
Especially not an American. Because you need to go to these other countries, meet other people.
Yeah.
And if you go with another American, you guys are going to stay in your hotel together. You're going to go to dinner together. But if you're alone. So we keep getting on the theme of all this stuff about recovery and health and everything with CrossFit. But how do you know if you're recovered? How do you know how you're feeling? Do you just judge it yourself? Do you know? Well, now there's ways to put metrics to it, and I've been doing it, and it's life-changing. I'm not joking about that. I joke about a lot of things, but I don't joke about my health. And I'm monitoring myself using a Whoop. It's almost like, I've got an ankle bracelet on, but I've got like a wristwatch. It's kind of like I wear, and I wear it constantly. If you look at any pictures of me lately, or see me on stage doing any videos, I'm wearing this thing constantly. And it's a wrist-worn heart rate monitor. That's what it is. But it's not just like a heart rate monitor. This thing measures you like 1,000 times a minute or whatever, 1,000 times a second. I don't know what it is, but it's some astronomical number. So it can check your heart rate variability. And what that does is it's able to check out and give you analytics for recovery, strain, and sleep. You're going to know when your body's recovered or when it needs rest, because this thing's going to get to know your nervous system through heart rate variability and through your quality of sleep. So you're going to be able to track your workouts. You're going to get strain scores. They're going to let you know how strenuous training was on your body. And then you're going to get to see the data like that. You're going to find out your average heart rate, your max heart rate, your calories burned, your whole day. So you're going to start getting better sleep, because your sleep, it's going to tell you your deep sleep, which is your SWS, your REM sleep, how much you get, and you know how much you need. And then you're going to start seeing to yourself, oh no, I got to get to bed earlier. I need to take care of myself. I need to stay in bed longer. I need to close the curtains. I need to black it out. I need to sleep in a cooler environment, because your sleep is so important. And when you're like me and you find out that you're averaging 5 hours a night of sleep, you're going to wonder, you're not going to wonder. You're going to know why your performance isn't as good as it is. And so you're going to want to take care of this and start working on your averages. Say, I was 5 hours last week. I was averaging 5. I got to get this up to 6 or 7, ultimately 8 or 9. So it's great. And they've just released their new Whoop Strap 3.0, which includes new upgrades to the hardware and unlocks a suite of new software features to the app. So it's got a 5-day battery life. This thing stays going for 5 days, and you charge it while you're sleeping if you want. You put this little cover over it, and you're not plugged into anything. And it's just awesome. And thanks to Whoop, sponsoring us, they're going to hook you up as a listener of the show. You're going to get $30 off a purchase with the code. The code is what I thought the code was. Is it Wadcast? Oh, it is. It's Wadcast. I love when they give me a code that's Wadcast. So easy for you guys. Put in Wadcast and at checkout, and you're going to save $30. $30. How about that? On a 12 to 18 month membership. That's how you do it. They give you the hardware for free, and then you pay for the monitoring they do of you. And so you're free hardware. You're paying for the software. 12 to 18 month membership, $30 off. Go to Whoop. It's the world's most it's Whoop.com. Whoop.com. It's the world's most powerful fitness membership. Said I was down at the beach in New Jersey this week, and guess what I did? I did a 10-mile run, and guess how I felt afterwards? Not so bad. Not so bad. You know why? Because I am all about preparation. I am preparation. I warmed up before I did it. Before I work out, I put on some muscle rub. That's right. I use Tiger Balm Active. Tiger Balm Active takes care of me, and I want it to take care of you. All you got to do is you put this on. You rub it in. It's non-greasy. It's a warming gel, and it gets to my muscles. Make sure that they are warm, ready to go. When I'm done, I throw on some Tiger Balm Active's muscle gel. So muscle rub before, muscle gel afterwards. The muscle gel is also like non-sticky. It goes cool to warm, and it's great for the cool down. I did not have my muscle spray with me. I wish I had that. That is the one I use for hard to reach places where you just spray it on your back or wherever you can't get to, and you just spray. That's awesome. I should have traveled with that, but I took my muscle rub and my muscle gel with me, and it helped me get through a 10-miler. It's just amazing stuff. And working out, you are a CrossFitter. You are sore all the time. You probably are doing 3 on, 1 off. Well, make sure this will get you right to that. If you feel like you're slowing down because you're sore all the time, get to CVS or Rite Aid. That's right. CVS or Rite Aid. Did I say that right? CVS or Rite Aid. Yes, I did. Because that's where they have it. CVS and Rite Aid. You just go in. Here's what you do. Go in the door. People work there. Scream, Tiger Balm. They know exactly where to go, and they'll get it for you. It's on the counter. You'll see. And so that's all you got to do. Get yourself some Tiger Balm Active. Keep yourself off the couch and in the gym. And again, enjoy it, and let me know. Let me know what you think and how it feels. Are you as busy as Kenny Santucci? Are you working out all the time, doing your job, taking care of your family, and finding it hard to eat healthy? Well, I got the solution for you. Territory Foods. I've tried a lot of these meal services, and this is by far the best. And you don't have to worry about staying healthy when you got Territory doing it for you. Territory's meals are crafted by local LA chefs in small batches in kitchens of their own. They're nutritionally dense meals that arrive ready to eat, which means no shopping, no chopping, no cooking, no cleaning. You hear that? No shopping, no chopping, no cooking, no cleaning. I should have been on QVC. But the meals are prepared. They're made of seasonal, whole, never frozen ingredients for optimal freshness. You're getting the best stuff for you. So good for you. Going to make you more elite than you already are. Going to make you buffer, more swole, more muscular, more tanned and jacked, more strong, more elite. You're going to be amazing. And that's because they prioritize convenience at every turn. Your meals are delivered to your door. Knock, knock. Who's there? Your food twice a week. How about that? Territory believes nutrition's personal, and you need to feel your best. And their menus are built to support a wide variety of dietary preferences. If you're one of those vegan people, you know who you are. My friend Norman's one of you. I fought with him all weekend, all about his veganism. But you know what? Norman would have no trouble with Territory. He just tells them, hey, I'm vegan. Boom, your meals are all vegan. Keto? You want to go keto? That's what you're into? You get your keto meal. Your Whole30. Boom. Whole30. How about that? Whatever you want, it's coming. However you have that diet, they're taking care of you. And they've got everything in between. Anything. They got a whole nutritional spectrum. And all their meals start from an anti-inflammatory foundation of no gluten, no dairy, no refined sugars. That should be our whole country should be eating this. No gluten, no dairy, no refined sugars. Pricing varies. It all depends on the meal size. You know, you want to be like me and just bulk up, you're getting the most expensive one. But you know what? Maybe you're not a big eater. You can get a cheaper one. Meals start at around $10 each. Free delivery to a convenient neighborhood pickup spot. Okay? Or if you want home delivery, that's $7.95 for home delivery. Okay? So you can get it, like go to your gym where they deliver it to, or you can go home, have it right to your door for $7.95 extra. Go to www. Did I need to say that? Does everybody know that? You don't need to know that. Territoryfoods.com. Go to territoryfoods.com. That's territory. Do you know how to spell territory? If you know how to spell territory, you get there. Territory, TERRITORY, foods.com. Use the code WODCAST30. You're going to get $30 off your first order in any of their 4 locations. So do that, try it, and I guarantee you'll like it. Okay, how about that? That's WODCAST30 at checkout, territoryfoods.com.
So most of what we do here at Solace, and it came out of 2 things. One, I love partner workouts. And 2, we maxed out our space pretty much.
Yeah.
So a lot of partner work. And I always tell people, I'm like, don't partner with the same person. Yeah. Try to find somebody new every time. And, you know, one of the games I like to play with friends, and I forget who turned me on to it. I really do. But one of the coolest things that me and my friends do now at birthday parties or like different events, you go around the room and you pick somebody and you say one physical thing and one, personality trait that you like about somebody. And you want to watch people like turn on and feel good. Like, you're like, hey man, you got great eyes and you're a funny motherfucker. I love that. And people really getting, but like, that's a thing. Like people turn on, like when you start to pay them compliments, because think about social media. The first thing people do is shit on you about everything.
Yeah. You could
heal the sick and, save children from a burning building, and people are like, he probably did it because of this, or he did. And it's like, dude, shut the fuck up and just appreciate somebody.
My buddy this weekend when we were down at the beach tried to get me one night to he goes, I dare you to put your phone in a drawer and come out tonight. He's like, I dare you. And my wife is super pregnant, so I have to have my phone on it. I go, if I didn't have my wife being pregnant, I would do it. Yeah. And I go, I can do it. And he's like, no, you can't. You got to take photos. You got to do videos. You got to do. And I hate that stuff, but it's like part of the business. But I was like,
you have to do it.
But I do feel, and I do jokes about it on stage, I feel like, if I walk out of the house, it's like I didn't bring my wallet. But I remember when I was younger, in my 20s, I used to go to the beach. I would go down to Stone Harbor when I didn't have any money, and I was an aspiring comedian. Like my first year, my friends would go, come down here. I go, I don't have any money. And they're like, we got you. And I would take a white t-shirt and a marker, and I would write charity case on my shirt. And I would go to the bars, and people were like, what's the shirt? And I'm like, well, you get to sign my shirt if you buy me a drink or buy me food or buy me. And people are like, I got you, man. Let's do a shot.
That's
and then
awesome.
They would sign my shirt, and by the end of the night, I'd have this whole shirt signed by everyone. And it was, but I'm like, not only did I not have a phone, I didn't have $1, and I could walk into a town and live an entire weekend, not mooching, but just, I had buddies.
That's
like,
great,
we got you. But it's I'm so dependent on, if I leave my house, I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
It's a horrible, horrible addiction. It's funny, we've been talking about it so much lately. Everyone that comes on we had the strength coach of the Arizona Cardinals on the show, Stan Efferding, who's the Vertical Diet. Kenny Kane was on last week talking about how he's writing an article about it. It's everybody is feeling this like connection to it that we're like.
I think a lot of us are realizing how. I'm thinking a lot of us are realizing how connected we are, that we want to start to disconnect a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people are gravitating towards that. Like, I'm on 2 or 3 dating apps.
Yeah.
I never use them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's like conversations that I haven't even started that are just like sitting there, and I'm like, I really have nothing to fucking talk to this person about. But I wish I met this girl out at a bar, or she came into my gym, or something along those lines.
See, I never got to use it because I
married.
Tinder came out when I got literally, I found out about it the day I got married.
Oh, wow.
But I hear from all my single friends, they're like, I was like, oh, that would be a bit, and they're like, it's terrible.
It sucks.
It's terrible.
It really, like, I don't use it. Like, in theory, it sounds great.
Yeah.
And in practice, you're like, I don't want to go meet this fucking weirdo. I don't know this person.
And I'm thinking about this generation of the young, that's what they're going to grow up, and that's all they're going to do.
That's all they know.
It's all they know.
Yeah.
And hopefully there will be some kind of revolution. I'm watching the guys. We're sitting at the hotel next door to Solas, and I'm watching the people from your gym run down the street, which is hysterical because it's all these New York City like suits and everything, and then all of a sudden people are running by with sandbags on their back.
Yeah. It's the norm here. I wanted to get a bunch of treadmills, and it does make a little bit easier. But at the same time, I love the idea of like running outside.
It's great. That was part of the allure of CrossFit,
for sure.
That hopefully it's going to go back to.
It made it acceptable to run on the street.
We talk a lot on lately, especially with the division of the games in CrossFit and CrossFit Health. And one of the things was that CrossFit was started as, hey, you open it in an airplane hangar, you do it in an office space, you do it in a retail set, and it's all about the coaching and not about the equipment. Mm-hmm. And because you can, with one sandbag, you can make somebody work out harder than they've ever worked out.
For sure.
If you're a good coach.
If
you don't even need a sandbag. Nothing.
Yeah. You could have 10 people, right? Do a 5-mile run with a 30-pound sandbag, and it'll be brutal for everyone.
Yeah.
If you do it the right way, that will suck. Yeah. But I was going to say, I think what happened to CrossFit, and it annoys me because I'm a purist. I love CrossFit. I like the evolution of it, but at the same time, there's a lot of people, the Orange Theories and the F45s, who basically have stolen what CrossFit has done, called it their own, and now like people are like, well, I love F45 and I love Orange Theory and I'm like, that's all CrossFit.
Yeah, but don't you think CrossFit kind of amalgamated all these other things that strength and conditioning have been going on for years too?
For sure. But I think what they did was they packaged it.
Yeah,
really nice.
Sure.
They put it all under one umbrella, gymnastics training and Olympic training and HIIT and everything, and put it under one umbrella. And before CrossFit, you would never see the amount of, which is the most beautiful thing, I think, the amount of women and young people who are doing, and guys, older people who are doing Olympic lifting, powerlifting. Now every girl on Instagram or every guy on Instagram is a strength and conditioning specialist and selling programming and all this shit. It's like, have you been doing this a year?
Yeah,
maybe 6 months. You just happen to look really good, and
but it's better than the. It's better than the alternative. Yes. I mean, the fact that, like, we've got obesity epidemics, we've got anxiety and depression epidemics, we've got all these things of, like, a collapsing nation, when a healthcare crisis. Good. Let's get an army of strength and conditioning coaches. I mean, I joked that CrossFit was a giant pyramid scam.
Yeah.
And that the top was making money and nobody at the bottom was, because it was creating coaches that create coaches that create coaches and all pay it up to the top. But at the same time, good. Create lots of coaches and experts that can go hammer everyone else to go get out of your cubicle.
Well, this is what I say. There are a couple other big CrossFit gyms. You have to be a big CrossFit gym to survive in New York. Nobody's got a mom and pop shop here.
Right.
You got Brick, which is huge. You got Neo, which is huge.
What's the other one?
Fifth Avenue.
What's it called?
Neo U.
Okay.
You got, You got, what's the other one? Union Square.
What happened to Black Box?
Black Box.
That still exists?
Right? Yeah. They had to cut down a floor. They used to have 2 floors. They were like,
but they almost had that terrible elevator.
Yeah. I mean,
everyone got stuck in.
I think there's a stair. Like, I've only taken the stairs up there. No, they used to have an old space. Their old space had the shitty elevator. Anyway, you have to be one of those big gyms that, to survive around here. And when my coaches or anybody's like, oh, well, what about the other gym? I go, here, think about it this way. We stare outside, and I have the coaches do it sometimes. stare outside, count the amount of people you think work out. I go, so we're not doing our jobs. We should have 10 more fucking gyms in the city.
Yeah.
Because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that I just saw walk by where I'm like, that motherfucker does not go to the gym.
No.
And they should be.
Yeah.
And I wish there was a way to make it cheaper and have more space.
It's eventually going to happen, though.
Yeah.
Because from the beginning, we've been doing this show for 8 years or something, and what we said would happen to CrossFit is it would get bastardized, as you said, into F45 and all these things. Everyone, you're going to teach enough people. Like, when I first started going to the gym, they were like, oh, you're going to do a different body part every day, and you're going to do 3 sets of 10, and you're going to do 3
old school
exercises.
bodybuilding,
And I just learned that from the guy next to me. Who learned it from the guy next to him, who learned it from the guy next to him.
Yep.
Well, that's what CrossFit's going to be.
Yeah.
You're going to go to some gym, some Globo-type gym, where you're going to pay $50 a month eventually, and everyone's going to know how to do a snatch. Everyone's going to know how to do a clean and jerk, because they revolutionized the society and introduced this to enough people that then there's a top down that it just trickles down to all of the average people.
Yep.
Because you take this 13-year-old idiot next to me and he already knows burpees and push-ups and squats.
Yeah.
And he knows everything.
Well, this is what I say. My target demographic nowadays are parents. The generation older than us, because we're the first generation of people who've made fitness a thing. Like, we do it. We don't even think about it. It's like something we do. Our parents' generation and their parents' generation, that was never a thing.
It was all new to them.
Yeah,
aerobics was new, or jogging was new.
And so we're going to be, and the generation younger than us, this guy and his buddies, are going to know all that and do all that. So they're not going to need us.
If I really think we need to get it into the schools, because it's
I 100% think we do,
because they don't do anything. Do you even have phys ed class? You do?
Yeah. What do you do in phys ed?
Like basketball, usually, like sports.
How many days a week?
Twice.
That's crazy.
2 days a week for an hour.
45 minutes.
2 days a week for 45 minutes. That's all they do.
I mean, it's better than nothing. But my nephew's he's 12, so he's a year younger than him. And I'd say about 5 or 6 months ago, he texted me. He's my cousin's kid. Texts me. He's like, "Hey, girls like abs. I need abs." I go, "Girls like a lot of shit that you're probably never going to have." I also
they like
said
Ferraris too.
I was like, they also like pubic hair. You're not going to have that for another 2 years too. But I told him, I go, listen, I was like, you're young. I was like, but here, I'll send you workouts. So I send him like push-ups, air squats, lunges, sit-ups. I'm like, start doing this stuff. It's too hard. I don't want to do this stuff. I go, it's hard for everybody. That's why very few people have it. He's like, but why do I have to do so much of it? I go, listen, you could either trust what I'm telling you and understand that this is a process and that it takes a little bit of work and a little bit of effort on your part. I was asking him, I was like, do you do this in school at all? He's like, no. And I was like, wow, it's weird. It's crazy.
They're canceling it in some schools because they don't have the money. And I'm like, cancel? There's some core curriculum that I understand you need, but this is core curriculum.
Yeah. I think, listen, there's nothing I love more than history. I love history and I love geography, and I always have. I love learning about American history, but we could cut out all the bullshit. We could cut out the fake shit. That let everybody on fucking Thanksgiving had a great time and everybody's sitting around chilling. And the Indian, why don't we
tell them about the blankets that gave them diseases and talk about how they genocided an entire.
Why don't we teach that in high school, in college, when people could understand that, like, hey, not everybody's the nicest guy, and here's what our history really is.
What do they teach you they did to the Indians?
Can't remember.
Yeah. He's a smart kid too. But you don't pay attention all the time, do you? There's so much that they could add. I think CrossFit for Kids is great. I mean, I've got a 4-year-old that I'm already teaching all the fundamentals to, and she goes to gymnastics and she goes to swimming. Yeah. My thing is gymnastics and swimming, I think, are really important. I was just talking to Dylan Farr, who's on the show a lot and talks to us a lot, and he's a trainer, and He's got his L1 and he's a nutritionist, but he was talking about jiu-jitsu, that between the ages of 8 and 12, that those are really good years for kids to go to jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. He goes to karate, and I was saying, you should, but they do grappling and everything. And that's great. That's another thing that more and more, that's been growing insanely is MMA and stuff. And that's great for kids and keep them. But I look around and I just see, I don't feel like we were like that. I feel like we maybe played more sports or just didn't have as many screens.
Well, I was a fat kid, and like I said, I grew up in the inner city, so there wasn't as much for me to do. But I played baseball from the time I was 5 to the time I was 12 or 13. But
were you the catcher?
No, I was first baseman, actually.
Oh, yeah, but that's a fat kid spot.
Yeah, but I tell people, I go, I realized at a young age that I had to lose weight and figure out this shit on my own because nobody in my family knew it.
Yeah.
They have access to all this shit now.
Yeah.
And it's so easy for them. And on top of that, with baseball, it's like even pro baseball players are fat bastards.
They are.
You can't be a fucking mess if you're a hockey player.
No.
Or a wrestler.
No.
Or
baseball, you can, though.
Baseball, you could be a fat
baseball, you
even
can get
football.
away.
Like, you could be a fat lineman, but that motherfucker knows how to move.
Yeah, it's getting harder and harder for football because they've gotten away from size and it's more speed now. Speed and power.
Yeah.
Speed and power and how fast those linemen are. Ryan Flaherty from Nike was on the show. He had a guy I just saw who was 300 pounds or 295 that ran a 4.840 at the combine.
300 pounds.
300 pounds. Can you imagine that moving at you?
No. One of my buddies is at the gym right now. He played for the Colts and he played for Jacksonville. He was downstairs working out with his blonde hair, big kid. And he's a freak. He's a freak athlete. And he only played in the league for like 3 years. And I'm like, what must the other guys be doing?
Yeah.
If, you were getting beat.
You see these guys that got cut or only played a few years, and it is mind-boggling of how good, like not James Townsend, Tommy Hackenberg. I just had him on the show, and he played, Division I, national championship team, or not, they won the Fiesta Bowl. Great team. I think they were number 2 in the country his year. And you look at him, and you're like, you're a physical specimen.
Yeah, yeah.
How are you not in the NFL? Who goes to the NFL?
Yeah.
But I was with my friend all week who's a swim coach, and he's got a kid who's going to be probably national champion, probably win a gold medal in the Olympics. He's a swimmer. He's doing the 50 in under 20 seconds right now.
Wow.
19-something, the second fastest time in America. And the kid is, you just look at him, he's a black dude who is, what is he? He's 16 years old, I think, right now. And he's 6 foot or 6'1", and he's got size 15 feet. So he's got these flippers, that just go, and he showed me some of his events, and the kid, just at his age, you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to see this kid win a gold medal someday.
Yeah.
He's already been invited to the Olympic trials, and he's a sophomore in high school.
Well, look at C.J. Cummings. So I was just actually having a conversation with the guys from Reebok, and we might have C.J. Cummings come to the gym soon. Keep that on the DL.
Yeah, nobody listens to this.
And, you look at somebody like him, you're like, here's this kid at 18 years old who snatches and clean and jerks more than anybody else I know.
I just watched his video just right as I was standing outside.
He's a freak.
Yeah. And I was trying to figure out what it was. I watched it in slow motion, and I'm like, what is it about this kid?
So explosive.
That he can do this so much better than everyone else.
Yeah. So explosive and controlled.
I know, and I am not a big fan of the Olympic lifts just because I can't do them well. B, it just seems like one of those redundant over and over and over patterns. But I did notice about him, he has this shoulder flexibility that is, his arms are so far back here in his jerk. He did like a push jerk, and his arms were so far back and his body was forward like he was catching a snatch.
Yeah.
But I was like, is that just strength of, like, does this guy just have like natural freak strain.
Yeah. I was just down at the Asbury Park games, and there was a bunch of guys I competed up against. We went elite division. Me and my buddy who plays football, and one other guy I'm friends with, who actually used to.
How'd you
work
guys
with
do
me
this year?
So this is the first year they had elite and RX, and we took.
So what's the difference between RX is?
RX is just the regular guys, and then elite is all the freak shows.
Do they have a plus 60 women's division I could do?
I think you'd be okay in the 50 plus men. I think you'd be okay.
I do
somewhat good.
That's not true. I wouldn't. I did the open as 60 plus women, and I couldn't compete.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm good buddies with Ron Ortiz.
Yeah,
and I had the privilege of working out with him a couple times, and that dude's got 20 years on me.
Yeah,
and he'll crush me in every workout.
I hate to say this, and a lot of guys are going to come at me for it. We've seen recently, and next week I've got a pretty good guest on Tuesday to talk a lot about it, but the influx of steroids in the games and people getting busted and getting popped and denying it or whatever, the Gerards. But I'm sorry, and maybe it's just because I'm a weak old man now, but I look at these guys that are masters athletes that are performing at that level, and I'm not saying you are, but you all look like you're doing steroids to me because it seems impossible to me.
Listen, I watched, Daniel Tosh?
Yeah.
Obviously, you're a comedian.
I know Daniel.
I love him. And he has a skit that he talks about with, like, baseball players and athletes. And he's like, dude, I want to see all my athletes juiced up and big. And, you need a license to do pretty much everything in life. But you don't need a license to have a child, which should be the most important thing. You have the right to smoke cigarettes, which is terrible for you. You have the right at a certain age to drink alcohol. In most states, you have the right to smoke marijuana if you want to, and take medications that a doctor can make money off of, or the state or pharmacies are making money off of. If somebody wants to take something that's going to benefit
them and make them better,
whether it's bad or not, right? Like, I think the dumbest law is the seatbelt law. If I don't wear my seatbelt, the only person I'm killing is myself.
Yeah, same with the helmet law. Yeah.
Right? So if I don't want to wear it, then that's on me, right? Yeah. I get the cell phone thing and everything else, but...
Yeah, because you can kill other people. But I get it, too. It's freedom. But you should have the right to... If you don't want to wear a seatbelt, you have the right... I want to wear a seatbelt.
I want to wear a seatbelt, too. I want to wear a
helmet on a motorcycle.
I'm playing devil's advocate, and I'm saying...
I think people should have the freedom to
Yeah. So if I could take pills because I'm depressed or I'm upset or another bunch... I can't study or concentrate. Like, we all can't anymore, right? The average attention span of an American is like 3 seconds or something, 2 to 3 seconds.
What'd you say?
And but you think about it, I'm like, if I want to take something that's going to make me feel good, that's going to keep me youthful, I should be allowed to. Now, I can't personally afford shit, and I don't know the side effects of it. I also don't know the side effects of buying cocaine in a club or something, but people do that every weekend too.
So if you're going to take... I think that's their only argument is that we don't really know all the side effects of it. But
we do we know the side effects of buying
pharmaceutical
drugs from some weirdo at a fucking concert or something? And people have been doing that forever, and we didn't know the side effects of asbestos.
Right.
We didn't know the side effects of a lot of things. So if we don't, right, and anabolic steroids has been around forever, right? It started... I always thought it came from... And I was just reading, actually in the Strength and Conditioning book, the CSCS textbook, and I always thought it came from, testing during World War II, like how do they get these soldiers to, last throughout these winters and stuff. They drop a couple of guys off on a beach somewhere, and they're like, all right, see you guys in 6 months. Hope everything works out. But, they were talking about where it came from and the experiments, and they really didn't ban steroids till like the 90s.
It was that long?
Yeah, because think about it. Like, you look at, like, I'm a huge pro wrestling fan, like old school pro wrestling. And you look at some of these guys in the 70s and 80s, and these were monsters. There were guys in the early Olympics in the 40s and 50s who started doing anabolic steroids, and these guys were monsters.
Yeah.
And they were throwing around crazy weight. And they didn't know the side effects then, but they were like, go ahead and use them. And, personally, I've never taken them, right? Because, one, I don't like giving myself needles, and you don't know the side effects. But I've also never, swear to God, I've never even tried cocaine, and people find that crazy. But I'm like, I don't know who the fuck I'm getting it from, where it's coming from. I don't need this, So there are people who try all this stuff. If somebody wants to try it, I think trying meth is worse than trying steroids.
Yeah,
At least you're going to look great after. Have you ever seen somebody look good after trying meth? I know a lot of people who tried steroids, and you're like, fuck, you look pretty good.
They don't lose their teeth with steroids.
They look, everybody looks, gross.
I was in Gold's Gym one day, and my buddy, Crazy Bobby, who just is super all natural, everything, points up at the wall, and he goes, see that guy? They've got all the pictures of all the bodybuilders around the gym, and Arnold and all those guys. This is the Gold's Gym Venice. You see that guy right there, and it's a guy doing like some crazy deadlift, like crazy, and he's just so big and gigantic. And I go, yeah. He goes, world record holder right there. And he goes, yeah. He goes, he's right there. And he points over, and it's this little puny tiny guy that's like my size, you know, that's like doing curls over in the corner. And I go, what did he get sick? And Bobby goes, no, he stopped taking steroids.
Yeah.
He goes, and I go, wait, you can get like that? And he goes, how do you think you get like that?
So there are 2 points I want to make. One is, look at the Brad Pitts and the Tom Cruise, right? There was a movie with Tom Cruise that came out like a year or two ago. It's like he's a airline pilot, and he's flying drugs back and forth. And great movie. It's really good. I forget what it's called. American something.
Oh, yeah, I remember. I saw it. It was a good film.
It was great.
Yeah, he flies.
I'm watching him fly that plane, and I go, that looks like Maverick.
Yeah.
He hasn't aged in 30 years.
He's taking HGH.
The guy looks amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. A lot of these guys look amazing.
My buddy just started, and
what are the side effects of pumping all this shit into your face and your head?
Yeah, the Botox.
The Botox. Do we know the side effects of that? No. But you have millions of women and men around the world and around the country pumping this shit into their face. Into your face.
I think it's gross.
So it's the same shit. Like you're putting this like lip injection. Like who knows what the hell you're putting in your face? So if somebody wants, like, just because someone sins differently than you doesn't mean they're wrong.
Yeah.
And you look at it like and the only reason I defend it in a way, or I teeter-totter to that side, there hasn't been anyone I grew up admiring, like really like oh my God. Like that's why I love the gym. Like I look at the Stallones, Schwarzenegger, Van Damme, any of these guys who were just freaks when I was a kid, and like Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior. I could watch now. I'm a 36-year-old man. I watch the Ultimate Warrior run out to the ring still and get fucking jazzed. I'm like, this dude is the man. He was a massive juice head. Massive juice head. I
interviewed Hulk Hogan right over here, like a couple streets over one time, way back when I started acting, and they hired me to like host this toy fair. Yeah. Hulk Hogan shows up, and he was so cool. Stone Cold was there, and Goldberg, and they were all kind of mean to me and like walked away. But Hulk came up, and I said, hey, he's like, hey, little buddy, how you doing? And he put me in a headlock.
Yeah.
And I had the video afterwards, and his arm was bigger than my head.
Huge.
It was gigantic.
And like as a kid, like I idolized those guys. I was like, oh my God, these. But I think they've done. They're still icons. A lot of those guys are still icons. Like, did you watch that video of the kid who runs up behind Arnold and kicks him in the back?
No.
Did you see this?
No.
So it was on Arnold's page. It was on a bunch of different pages and stuff. Anyway, he was at the Arnold Classic, I think in Australia.
I heard about this.
And some kid runs up behind him.
Yeah.
Now this is, what's he, 71, 72 years old? Some kid like his age runs up behind him, drop kicks him, like full on drop kicks him. And in the video, it looks like he didn't move, but they showed another video of it from a different angle and kicks a 72-year-old man. And he goes like this. And the kid falls to the ground. And I'm like... It's pretty fucking badass. That's the coolest 72-year-old I know.
Yeah.
He just took a drop kick to the back and he didn't move. Okay. He's Conan the Barbarian. He's the Terminator. And he's still cool at 72. I'm like, but like everything he's done, for me, the gym has made me more focused. The gym has made me stronger. The gym has made me, in a lot of ways, in my opinion, a better person.
Well, I agree with you. I have a friend who just he's had a lot of trouble, addiction issues and stuff in his life, and he's been falling apart. And he's going on 50 years old.
Yeah.
and he used to bodybuild. He did steroids, and he's lost his wife, lost his kid, all kinds of stuff. Bad stuff has happened, and he tries everything from rehab and blah blah blah. And it was weird. I said to him on the phone, I go, have you tried CrossFit? And I know that sounds cultish, and I am always the anti, like, when it comes to drinking the Kool-Aid. But I thought for him, I'm like, this is a community you'll get into where everyone's going to be your friend, that they're all going to want to do healthy stuff, that they're going to keep you out of trouble, and they're going to keep you focused. And also, like, when you start working out and you're like, I'm going to get stronger and faster and better, you're like, well, I should get smarter too. I should work on my brain. I should work on who I am as a person.
For sure.
I should work on and you go, well, if I want to be the best at this, why don't I want to be the best at everything I do?
Yep.
And so it just makes you achieve and want to achieve. You know, it's that how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yep.
Well, if I'm going to do this and try to be the best, why don't I try to be the best at all I do? And so I think it's good for...
And you are the company you keep, right? If you're around a bunch of, like, successful, strong guys, you're like, well, I want to be like them, right?
So, and if you're around Hunter McIntyre, no.
you're like, I want to be as crazy as the day is long.
That's what I do. I hang out with him. This was this was an hour. That flew.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was really awesome. I'm glad I finally got to sit down with you. I wanted to interview you last time I was here. Do you have any other events coming up? Like,
yeah,
you did that one great event when I was here.
Yeah, I have a shirt for you. I wanted to bring it over.
Oh, awesome.
Strong New York. So Strong New York is kind of my little brainchild. It's a passion project of mine where I get nutritionists together, doctors, coaches, anybody who has influence in helping you become better. What we were just talking about. Check it out. We're actually in the midst of planning our next one that we'll have at the end of November, beginning December sometime. And we'll do like little pockets and satellite events here and there. But the sole focus behind it is to educate people and create relationships and make New York a bit of a better place. I fly people in.
I was here last time it was going on, and I saw the lineup. It's incredible. And being in New York, you're like the epicenter of, like, California is an exercise capital, but this also is. People don't realize this. And you have premier people, so that's something I'd come back for that. I would love to come back and interview a lot of people. And
I've had authors who've written nutrition books and doctors who have, literally their entire lives revolve around health and wellness. Jen Wiederstrom.
Oh, Jen.
I've had Hunter there. I've had the Muscle Doc. Literally, there's so many great people that I've had the opportunity to have there and be a part of it. And it's continuing to grow. And I reach out to people on social media all the time who I'm like, I love what you're doing. I love your message. I don't believe that. Look, like I said to some, I make jokes all the time. I'm like, listen, there's no point in going to the gym unless you look like you go to the gym. But I truly believe that looking good is the icing on top of the cake, right? The rich part, that idea that we were just talking about, that, hey, I want to become a better person. I want to do this for me. And looking good is just, an extra little added bonus. I want to be better for me, so I'm better for my wife, so I'm better for my kids, so I'm better for my friends. I want to be the best version of me I could be. I don't have to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I'm going to be a really good version of me. That's what I want to do, and that's kind of the message of Strong. Well,
that's awesome. Let me know when you're doing Strong too, because I'll plug it on here
for sure.
Up to it, because I think it's a great thing. I think all CrossFit gyms should do something like that, where you attract doctors and nutritionists and health professionals, and have like a day-long seminar, and people can bring friends and bring people in, and then they just get involved. And I think it's great. I think it's awesome. Cool. Thank you. I forgot to mention Ironman competitor did that. That's ridiculous. Anyone that's done that, I trained all weekend with some Ironmen, a couple of buddies, and I kind of have said, all right, I'm going to do it in a couple weeks. I got to wait a couple years. I got some other things this year that I'm doing, but we ran into David Goggins this week running down there.
That's awesome. Yeah,
down
of course. I went to go see him talk in Jersey. He was in the Jersey Shore?
Yeah.
Oh, no shit.
So I saw him running. My friend goes, let's go. I'm like, leave him alone.
Yeah. He was actually really cool. I didn't get to talk to him, but I listened to his story. I have his book. It's amazing. He's an amazing dude.
I'm trying to get him on here, and my friend wanted to stalk him. I'm like, leave him alone. I'll get him on the show. Kenny, can't thank you enough.
Buddy,
your Instagram is
At Kenny Santucci, at Solace, New York. Follow that one. A little event company I call at Crunch and Brunch. So we do like workouts at the gym, and then we go have brunch afterwards at a buddy of mine's restaurant. And we're starting to do them, sporadically here and there. And maybe if there's anybody out there who wants to hold one, I'm more than happy to help you guys do it and set it up and show you how it's done. Strong New York. And then I just started a little company with my buddies. It's called Love Your Buddy, and it's basically the same idea. It's just another way to, share some love. Like I was telling you before, like telling somebody what are the things you love about them. Everybody's ready to shit on you, but show somebody some love, and they'll show you some love back. So, Love Your Buddy.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thanks for doing it.
Thank you, buddy.
And thanks, Austin, for helping out. You did a good job. Did it all sound good?
Savage.
Good job.